All right, bro. Emilio,
Oh,
welcome, dude.
thank you, bro.
So,
Thanks for having me on, man.
yeah, dude. I'm stoked for this. This is exciting. So, Emilio has been, I guess what you've been in level up for just over a year now, right?
I was one of the first members, man.
I know, dude. You're like
I-
the OG.
Honestly, I think I definitely was. I think I was in Level Up before there was even a Discord.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much just like a group chat or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. So, Emilio's been with us for a long time. I mean, a long time. It's been a year, but I mean, it feels like a long time. So seeing a lot of change. I mean, dude, what you're 18 then, right?
Yeah, I was 18 when I first started with you. I was, I one man show. I had a couple cold callers, but through an agency.
Mhm.
So nothing that I was managing on my own. It was just me, just me in the business, and
Yeah.
a couple cold callers through an agency. But that's it.
So, dude, I'm super curious. Like, you're 17. You're not even like able to like actually do this. Like, what'd you do? Like, get your parents to do it in their name? Like, how did you do 3 deals at 17?
So as far as that part, man,
Bro, I
I
feel like before we
never,
get started,
never really
you
came
get
up. Man, let me mute this.
this man's over here getting sellers calling him. You're about to try to make some money on us. Um, cool.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as that part, man, I just got the contract signed, and it never really came up. They never, the title company never asked me for my ID or anything. My backup plan was just because me and my dad have the same name,
Uh-huh.
so that
Oh,
was kind of
really?
my backup plan. But I mean, it never even really had to. I never had to do anything like that.
That's sick. I feel like I heard stories about, I mean, you might be like one of the only 17-year-olds that have done deals, but I definitely heard stories of some 17-year-old. I wonder if that was you.
No, no, I remember before I was when I was just getting started, I saw on Real Estate Disrupt, Steve Trang,
Hmm.
he had done a podcast with somebody who had did like it's like a few deals at like 17 years old as well, and he was saying that he used his brother. So I was like, okay, I'll use my dad. We have the same name, it's all good. But like I said, it never even came up.
That's hilarious. Well, cool, man. So I guess how did you get your like how'd you get into real estate? How'd you do your first couple deals?
So back to like when I started, I was in high school. It was COVID year, so everything was kind of, slowing down. I went to, it was like everything was online, and I was working in my brother's food truck. So really, started my working at my brother's food truck, and he was paying me cash, he was paying me good, because he's my brother. And, so that really started, made me kind of feel for like making my own money.
Hmm.
And I'd always, kind of seen real estate, seen wholesaling, and thought it was always something I'd be interested in doing on the side. And, I really thinking back to it at this point, I can't really remember what it is that made me jump in, but I just kind of jumped in, started, educating myself. And then the next thing I knew, I was making cold calls. I was
Hmm.
hand dialing cold calls, and then, trying a little bit of texting, trying a little bit of, dialer, RVM, little things like that. And it got to a point where, kind of
My family,
everybody in my family,
everybody in my family,
somebody,
somebody. I got him. He's muted.
yeah. So somebody in my, sorry, everybody in my family, kind of knew what I was doing or trying to do at that point. And it just kind of came to a point where I can't quit now, so I can't get to a point. And it took me 6 months to get my first deal. So that was rough right there. But
Ryan.
yeah, grinding really. But it got to a point where I can't give up now. I've already told everybody what I'm trying to do. Um, I can't do it.
Yeah,
Can't.
that's sick. So I do remember. So at what point did you sign up to work with us?
I remember it was I had just gotten back from a sales training event from Steve Trang.
Hmm.
I just felt like my business was a mess. I just felt like I was like, oh shit, I can't. I need to do something. I need to change something. And I had seen, what you guys were doing. And I think I had, I reached out to Chris Perez,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because I think
Yeah,
he
because
was.
that was the first person I ever mentored. Chris.
Yeah, he was like, bro, reach out to Chandler. He'll get you taken care of. And I was like, man, am I being sold right now? Let me just reach out to him, man.
That's hilarious. I actually didn't know you came from Chris. That's quite funny. Yeah, Chris hit me up randomly. He like would not leave me alone for like a month. He's like, bro, mentor me. He's like, I'll pay you whatever. And I was like, dude, I don't do that. And then like randomly, I was like, okay, whatever. And like long story short, like Chris he did like 135K after a couple months like working with us. It was pretty dope. But yeah, that's sick, man. So okay, let's go into it. So right now, give an overview of what your team looks like, and like let's get into some like the value of like where you started and like what were some of the big steps for you to get to where you're at now. But like give us an overview of what your team looks like now, and like just your volume and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so like you said, I have a team of 5. It's pretty. I've really slimmed down, especially over since the new year. I think like in January, or November, December, I think it was up to like 7 or 8 cold callers. Since then, I've cut down to I have 1 cold caller, 1 texter. Right now, I have 2 lead managers with another one training. So yeah, so two lead managers, 1 training, and then 1 like full-time admin VA. Just doing kind of everything throughout the day. Just like they're doing lead approval, data management, just kind of everything that I don't want to take time to go and do. They're kind of doing it for me.
Sweet. That's awesome. Okay. And then like where you said you're a 1-man band, obviously when we signed up. So what were some of the first things that you had to do to kind of like get everything set up for you to start, getting traction essentially?
So the first thing you guys had me do, I remember, was get set up in launch control, sending texts. That was like the first thing. Cause at that point, like I said, I only had like 1 or 2 cold callers through an agency. I was getting maybe 2 to 3 leads a day, right, from those 2 cold callers. And it wasn't enough, right? I didn't have a pipeline I couldn't really do much. So first thing you guys had me do was get set up in cold calling, or sorry, in texting. And then just kind of scaling that, obviously I started out with the lowest plan. Then, once I kind of got the ball rolling, I increased my text limit. From there, it was just, kind of replacing myself in every single part. And up to that point, I'm up to lead manager right now, right? So I'm still doing all the acquisitions. But the next step, I guess, after getting the lead flow automated, was getting the lead management, getting the appointments automated.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, it's funny. I don't think I ever told you that's a strategy, but that's exactly what we do is get marketing automated, then like we're moving you up the chain basically. Right. Removed you from marketing, removed you from lead management, which means that now you go from making 80, 90, 100, 200 phone calls a day and like going crazy to you're making 10, right?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm still making a shit ton of phone calls every day.
You're still grinding?
I'm still hitting the phones. There will be days where I can't, I feel burnt out from dialing sometimes. That's why, man, I need to hire in acquisitions. Yeah. But some days I'm like, damn, it was a slow day yesterday. I need to make like 100 dials today. So, I'm still making a lot of dials. Yeah.
So you're still grinding. Well, there you go. But that's also like, you got that dog in you. So, okay. So talk about it. With SMS, what did that do whenever you started? You were able to just get leads coming in on autopilot.
Yeah. So, I think the biggest thing changed there was even with cold call as well. Like you guys told me to just open up my criteria for a lead, right? Before, I would get annoyed when, I would call leads and they're telling me, oh no, I'm not really looking to sell actually. Like it was just for the right price, right? Before I would get annoyed when I would do that, right? Because making those calls, it's a headache, right? That's why we hired managers so they could do it. Yeah. But, just like when you guys told me to just open up my criteria to just get more opportunities flowing in, right? Because, really what it is just funnels, right? We have our data and then, our cold callers and texters are that first funnel. And then the lead managers are the second funnel. So really it's just opening up the criteria to, anybody, like you guys say, anybody that has a positive response, just get on the phone with them and then from there qualify them.
Yeah, for sure. Like, dude, it's crazy. Just any positive responses, like that's literally like 60% of all the deals are just like a random, like, yeah, sure, call me, something like that, right? 60% of the deals from SMS. So if you're not calling those people, you should for sure.
Like sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead, bro.
My biggest deal to this day, the one that you were talking about the other day, I was going back into launch control and just kind of seeing, okay, how many times do we text them on this one account? I was just doing it for the heck of it. And I was looking, and I remember in November, we had texted him like 2 times. He had said, no. In December, we texted him 3 times. The first 2 times he was like, never, no. And then the third time he said, sure. The third time that month that we texted him, he just said, sure, got pushed to CRM. It like turned into an appointment a few days later. I locked it up a few days after the appointment. And then that's been my biggest deal today.
Bro, isn't that crazy? Because most people will just like, because one of the biggest questions like is like, dude, what do you do once you've texted a list? It's like you just keep texting it, man. Just keep texting it, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And like that's actually funny. So I did a long time ago, like probably like 3 years ago, the same type of study for like every single deal we've ever, well, it's like 2 years ago, sorry. Like every single deal we ever had done from texting. And like, dude, it's crazy like what you learn. Like if like we text people over and over again, and you just see them like go from an FU to a I'll sell my house for a discount.
Yeah.
Like like all the time. So like just because like that happens, don't kick them out of your sequence,
Yeah.
out of your marketing sequence, that is. So that's funny. Good. I'm glad you went back and looked at it. You're becoming a numbers guy at this point.
Oh man, I know. I just got to get to the putting it on a spreadsheet. That was just a visual thing.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So now that you're getting a bunch of leads, you're having a ton of people to talk to all day, and they're like less qualified. So talk to me about like bringing on that lead manager. What did that look like? Kind of what was the strategy with that?
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, when you open up your lead criteria, you're talking to a lot of people who are not really looking to sell, right? So you're banging your head all day and trying to like look for a motivated person to talk to. So that's when, again, you guys told me to just kind of get a lead manager in place. That way I'm not having to make all those dials, right? So the way that I started doing that was made an Upwork post, look for, kind of what I was looking for, people who are more experienced, better English communication, really just people who have some sort of experience already. It doesn't have to be real estate, but just some type of own experience. And once I got that lead manager in place and I wasn't having to make all those dials anymore, I had to teach them to set the appointments. Right now I had to teach them how to qualify a seller, how to go from just a lead to, okay, this is an appointment. And that was kind of that next step.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, that was like a more, that was definitely like a struggle point. So like and I know that you like had mentioned it to me. It's like that was kind of like a limiting belief you had. Like, so like let's talk about that a little bit. It's like talk to me a little bit about like your belief and like how you necessarily didn't, know if you could train someone up to be as good as you.
Yeah. So there were times where I would have calls and I would be like, damn, I don't know if my lead manager could do that, what I just did right there. And I think a lot of it just comes down to, of course, they're not going to be able to do it right away, but I have to be able to give them the tools, give them the experience, give them the practice, the training to be able to turn into that. Right. So I think, number one, having them listen to my call recordings, having them listen to their own call recordings, that's a big thing. But yeah, that was definitely a limiting belief that I had of like, damn, I'm not sure. Like, it was like once I had that lead manager in place, I was still making those dials the dials I didn't want to make at first because I was scared of them messing up, which defeats the purpose of making the hire in the first place.
Yeah, because you're calling all their leads.
Right, exactly.
So
I was having them call dead leads and cold leads, and of course that's how you want to start out at first, right? So they can get the practice in. But I was having them do that for way too long, and it just came to a point where I was like, why do I even have them here if they're just going to be talking to the leads that I've already unqualified?
Yeah. So like obviously I know you talked a little bit about it, like having them listen to their calls, listen to your calls. What was kind of like was it like an epiphany you made, or was it something that you just kind of realized over time that like through doing a training process that you're like, oh, they're actually getting better, and like I kind of just broke my own belief by doing it more and more?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was more that, once I started, like you said, I started seeing the progress that they were making, not just on like within
recording in progress,
also like within trainings. When I would role play with them, I would, they weren't making the same mistakes. I would work on their tonality. And I was, able to hear the progression that they were making every single day. Not every day, but, over time. And then you see the numbers pick up, right? As they start to learn the system better, the CRM that you're using, they're going to be able to start making more dials, right? That was a struggle I had. One of the struggles I had with them as well is they weren't understanding the system at first. So their dials were really low. They weren't able to make as many dials, but once they understood the system more, they were able to make more dials, have more conversations. And then I had more to be able to go back to them and listen to, hey, this is where you need to improve. And really it's just for me, I think, and that's something I still struggle with today. I know we were talking about it the other day. But it's just like, how deep do I want to get into that training that I'm doing with them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was like when you were training them, besides like listening to their calls and that kind of stuff and having them do the same, what was like your training process? Like what KPIs did you give them?
So like you talking about like back then, my training process with them was
I mean, it could be now. You can do it.
yeah,
You're
my
new and
training
improved
process
one.
back then wasn't the best. Right now, what I do for the most part is, so I'll go any appointments that they set the previous day, I'll listen to it with them. We speed it up a little bit. That way we don't have to, listen to the whole call at the regular speed. Speed it at like 1.5, 1.75 speed. Listen to it, just making, kind of we use your guys' audit doc, to make sure they're hitting every single part of the script, hitting all the checkpoints. And then from there, anything that, I kind of leave it up to them. Hey, what part of the script do you want to role play right now? What can we work on? What's a specific scenario that has happened recently that you guys want to work on? Or even, not necessarily something that you guys struggle with, but just something, a common scenario that we can just role play, right? Just to kind of get the reps at the beginning of the day before they start dialing. That's kind of, what I do to train them. And then, on top of, just listen to their call recordings, as well as doing the role plays. Sometimes we'll listen to, like some of your guys' sales videos, or I still have, Steve's sales videos, just little things like that, which, it's not, I don't like to do that too much because I feel like it's not the most engaging, right? They're kind of just sitting there watching something. I think it's better to do role plays or doing something that's a little bit more engaging for them. And then another thing that I just started doing was, I literally just started doing this like last week, we got on a Zoom one day a week. We're going to get on Zoom or get on a Google Meet. And then one of the lead managers is going to share their screen and dial. And if they set an appointment within like that time period, I'm going to give them like some sort of bonus.
Yeah. We've actually done that before. Like we would do like one time a week, have everyone hop on the call and be like, like a hot spot and be like, all right, who can get an appointment? You got 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
It's actually like, dude, you'd be surprised. People get appointments most of the time. Because when they're on the spot, they're just they're gonna work way harder, dude.
Right. And it's kind of just like, you tell them like, dial what you think is gonna get you an appointment, right? And it's like, okay, now do this every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like exactly. You just get better. That's sweet. Okay, so basically you went through, you hired, you got your marketing automated, you hired lead manager, had the journey of training them up. And then what kind of like, how do you determine like what decisions to make like in your business, like as you move forward? Like what are you like doing to make decisions?
So I think for me, because I feel like one of the things I struggle with is not really knowing where to go, right? We don't want to do this, don't want to do this. And I remember, I've heard you say it before. It was like, you kind of write out everything that you feel like you need to do and then kind of, scale it, right? Kind of put on different levels, say what's the most important? What can I pass off to somebody else? What do I really need to do? And that's something, again, I feel like I still struggle at. There's like right now I'm switching CRMs. I'm moving to Salesforce. So it's like I'm kind of balancing my time with that, and as well as still improving my lead manager, still onboarding this new lead manager, improving my onboarding process. But as far as like choosing what I want to do next in my business to improve, I think it really just goes back to, hey, what's going to drive the revenue, right? What's really going to help you grow the business, right? Is this specific thing that you want to get done? Is that really going to drive more revenue? Is that going to help you get to the next level? If not, you can probably pass it on to somebody else, right? Have them do it. If it's, obviously you want to do everything to your best capability, but if it's one of those things that it doesn't have to be done the best or at the highest level or at the fastest, you can just have somebody else do it. So you can focus on what does need to be done at the highest level.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. I will say, just as because I was thinking about this like a little bit ago at the beginning of the call, but I just remembered, I was like, I remember we had because you signed up and we were doing one-on-ones at the time, me, you, and Gino, and I think it was like the third or fourth call we had, and I told you, I was like, dude, I know Emilio's he's young, he's green, he's got a long way to go, but I was like, he's got the goods and he's gonna definitely make it happen. So I just wanted to make sure I told you that, because I remember I had that conversation specifically and was like, Emilio will make it. I'm not worried about him.
I
So
appreciate that, man. Yeah,
yeah.
no. So I mean, I feel like it's maybe something because you guys started young as well. So
Hmm.
it's I mean
You can just see it in you, like,
yeah, you can see it, right? Feel it.
like the biggest things I see for people who are successful, like, because we've at this point, I think we've done helped 10 businesses get to 100K, which is pretty cool actually. Like just in about like just in right around a year of doing it and doing it like on the side. But the biggest thing I see is that the people who actually have success, every they come with questions that are regarded to how can I drive more revenue? Here's my problems that are keeping me from driving more revenue. And then get those questions answered, implement, and then the next week they have new questions. And like those people who implement every week something new, even if it's one thing a week that will drive more revenue, those are the people who in 5 months, 6 months double or triple their business.
Right. And it's something like you don't even really feel in the moment, right? It's like
Yeah.
they're like because we're doing one-on-ones again. It's like that's I it I'm sure, if I brought you the same questions every single time we met, you'd be like,
I'm
dude,
like,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
bro. Yeah, that literally I would say like, Emilio, what are you doing?
We talked about this last time. Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? Right. So
Yeah.
no, it's 100%.
And it's just small things every week. If you just do one thing a week, that's gonna make more money. Eventually, it compounds, and you hockey stick up. I mean, like, Amelia, how long, like your journey? You're kind of like at what, like 20, 30K a month when we first started, and like you were maybe around like 30, 50K a month for a pretty good amount of time, and then you just like, you know what I mean? Everything just compounded.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, that's just the way it works. So, that's awesome, dude. So, anyways, what would you say to someone who's sitting around like 20, realistically like 1 to 2, maybe 3 deals a month, but just kind of like somewhere in that 10 to 30, 40, $50,000 range per month? Like, what do you think are some of the biggest things that, like, as far as advices that you would give to that person?
Oh, man, I'd say the first thing I would do is look at your numbers, right? Look at your numbers, and the same thing I do with you guys is just kind of look at where do I need to improve my numbers, which get right from leads to net leads to appointments to offers. Just kind of look at where in that Google sheet or whatever you have it on,
Manufacturing line.
and when that manufacturing line can you improve at, right? So whether if you need more leads, right? If you need more appointments, maybe hire another lead manager. If you're in that range, which I was just a couple months ago, I think it really just comes down to it's like you said, that compound effect, right? Once you get those appointments automated, you get those, then you start making those offers to all those appointments. It's really just going to compound. But I
Mm-hmm.
would say, yeah, the biggest thing is to look at your manufacturing line, right?
And another thing too that I really like is if you're doing all the lead management and you're setting your own appointments, you're cold calling, you're texting, you're doing like all this stuff. If you can just get yourself in the seat to where you're only giving offers and like doing follow up and like maybe doing like I know, Emilio, you're going hard and calling and stuff too. But like if you're just mainly your main role is to give offers and follow up with the hot follow ups and negotiate with the people who are like on the line, you're going to get really good at that over time. Like, in 3 months, you're going to be pretty freaking nasty at going on appointments and giving offers because you're going to do it every day, all day. And when you give 3, 4, 5 offers a day, you're going to start to close really well.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And that's something, I mean, that's something that I feel like I struggled with as well, is because when I had just got my lead manager implemented, they were setting appointments. I didn't have like an offer script, right? I didn't have a process that I would go to. Not necessarily, you don't really need a script. Scripts are great. I don't think you need necessarily a script that you need to read off of, but at least a process, right?
Like a framework.
Yeah, a framework, exactly. That this is the process. You're gonna hit all these checkpoints, right? And that was something I was kind of just winging it every time, right? I would just kind of go off the top of my head. But again,
Oh, you want to sell? Like, let's talk about it.
yeah. And once I got that, I was like, all right, here's the process I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna hit these checkpoints every single time. That's when you start to see, oh, that worked, that this works, this doesn't, this is what I should keep saying, this is what I should stop saying. And that's when you'll see that progress. That's when you'll definitely see, that you start to feel more confident on the phones, talking to those harder leads. And at the end of the day, you'll look at the day, hey, I had quality conversations today. Today was a good day.
Yeah. And also you get to have way better conversations if you're only talking to appointments. So
yeah, for sure. You're not talking to
yeah.
the cold text leads that are just saying sure all the time.
Yeah, dude, leave that for the lead managers. Sweet, man. I think like a lot of the value for this is going to definitely come from the Q&A. So I want to roll into that. Do you have any like anything that you'd want to, just say is like a final, like, you got the floor, you can say whatever you want to people on this call, like about addressing what kind of questions or anything, just like in general,
Yeah.
putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
No.
also while Emilio's thinking about that, guys, go ahead and just type some questions out in the chat. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll unmute you. Ideally, if you can turn your camera on, it's a little bit more personable. If not, all good. But yeah, put them in the chat. I mean, we got Emilio here, who is definitely going to be consistently doing over 100K a month. And once he hired his acquisition manager, we'll be, bro, that's badass, man. 19, 6 figures a month. Congrats, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, now it's all about, just getting that consistent. I really.
How long did it take you from when you started, like when you got your first deal to now? How long?
So I got my first deal, bro, in was it like May, or yeah, I think I want to say May of 2021.
So
And
almost 2 years.
right, yeah, and that so May of 2021, I got my first deal. I was still working. I didn't go. Went full time into wholesaling. I'm gonna say March, I don't know, April of last year. So I've been full time for just a little bit over a year now.
Dude, congrats, man.
Appreciate it.
Congrats. It's awesome. Okay. Did you think of your last words
Well, now
before?
I was talking, so I no, but honestly, I'm open to answering anything, man. Like I said, I'm not where Chandler's at, bro, but I'm more than happy to answer anything that I can with my experience, kind of where I'm at, and more than happy to answer anything.
Yeah. So guys, open up your mics, raise your hands, drop questions in the chat. We do have one question from Franco. What markets are you in?
Right now I'm in Northern and Central California. So those are like my main two markets. So anywhere from like the Bay Area, kind of like, let's say, Solano County down to like Fresno County, a little bit of Bakersfield.
Is that how you met Stratton? Because you're in that area?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know him like outside of were you with Call Magicians? Like how did you like get linked up with Stratton?
I just reached out to him.
Nice. Sweet. All right. Well, guys, surely someone has a question here. No, I'll ask questions for everyone. Oh, here we go. Fresno is central, northern, southern. I don't even know. But Fresno is central, northern, southern, and central. Sweet. Manuel, what's up, man?
I'm just being a pain in the ass, bro.
Hey,
because I'm from California, so it's three parts. There's central, there's southern, and there's northern. So when you say northern, you're talking about Bay Area, Sacramento, and up. For the most part, central is Fresno, the 559, the 209, Kings County, Kern County, up to about Bakersfield, and then Bakersfield and below is all Southern California.
Gotcha.
We're just being a pain in the ass because I'm from Fresno, so.
Did you go to school there? Did you go to school in Fresno? At Fresno State?
What's that?
Did you go to school at Fresno State?
No, I was homeless in Fresno, and now I have 3 degrees and I do real estate, and I'm based out of Phoenix.
Sweet. Well, congrats. I mean, I would imagine like California is a good place to be homeless if you were going to be homeless somewhere.
Yeah, I only, in fact, I just got off a call a little bit earlier with somebody. I think his name was Greg. I was in another Zoom and I saw his number was 559, so I reached out because I was like, bro, I'm so 559, I'm 209, because originally 209 zip code was a big zip code or area code, and then it split up and it became 559 and 209.
Oh, nice.
So that's why I know, and that's what but I was on a call with him. But the only reason why I don't do deals in California is because I don't know that many people actually buying and doing things in the 559-209 area. So, but yeah, I mean, I would love to do deals with people there because that's my home area, and my whole purpose is build enough to be able to give back, go back home, and teach students that you have more options than just working in the field or going to prison.
Yeah.
And teach and create.
Sweet. Well, maybe Emilio can help you sell a deal over there. Sweet. Appreciate you, Manuel. All right, gents, any other questions? If not, you got a fan from D's Nuts. You guys, do you know who that is?
Right back to wherever we got to throw it out there. I've known him since he was 14. I guess. Oh, that's my. I'm guessing that's my. Yeah, no, it's got to be. That's my boy Hector. I used to box with him. He's like my buddy / my coach. And right now we still hang out a lot. I put him on wholesaling as well.
Heck yeah.
He's crushing it too. He's doing deals. So appreciate you, Hector. Love you, bro.
Hell yeah. Love it. All right, gents. Well, if we got no questions, Emilio, I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man.
I think there's a lot of value. It was awesome to see your growth and hear you like talk like you listen to us, bro. Sounds cool.
Hell yeah, man. Let's keep it going.
Yes, sir, dude. Let me know if you need anything. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, bro.
All right, bro. Peace.